Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Cricket Forum, your place for the latest news, views, rumors, and all the happenings in the world of cricket. Welcome. England to ban players from playing in the IPL. Chris Morris retires from international cricket. Scott Boland is likely to miss the fifth and final Ashes Test. Franchises in the Pakistan Super League are undermining each other's with sponsors. Oshane Thomas may not get an NOC from the West Indies to play at the BSL. Pakistan and India to play each other every year. The TATA IPL 22 mega auction draft date has finally been set. Ireland and West Indies ODI match to be played tomorrow, and Ben Stokes wants to play in the fifth and final Ashes Test a few days after surgeries. Hello, welcome. Please remember to slash a like on the video, share, and subscribe. Today's show is brought to you by the Dealmaker Store. The Dealmaker Store sells pre-owned motor vehicle throughout the Caribbean. If you are interested in buying a pre-owned motor vehicle, the link is in the video description. Click on it and support the Dealmaker Store today. I want to say thanks to the Dealmaker Store for supporting today's show. So England is mulling over the possibility of preventing its centrally contracted players from playing in the IPL. In less than a week, this is the second ICC full member countries who are considering preventing their players from playing in the IPL. The ECB, the England and Wales Cricket Board, referred to as the ECB. I don't know why, because it should be more like ECWB, but it is called ECB for short. So the ECB, the England and Wales Cricket Board, is following Cricket South Africa, the CSA, in looking to stop their players from playing in the IPL. England position, the ECB position, is a point of view shared by some that because the team is performing so poorly in the Ashes series and being walloped by Australia, there are some who are of the views that these centrally contracted players who are earning 7 figures per year should remain in England and develop their cricket, play in the county cricket, play in domestic cricket to improve their game. There are others who think that it is not the players who are playing in the IPL, but it's actually the structure and the scheduling of the 4-day game in England that is causing England to be performing so poorly at cricket. Whatever the reason is, the thing is that it is being actively considered that these players, that England is going to stop their players from playing in the IPL. A few weeks ago, the former England captain and opening batsman Mike Atherton called for the ECB to take this position. Now, I have no details on why Cricket South Africa have decided or is mulling over, considering not allowing their players to play in the IPL. I have a serious challenge with Cricket South Africa. They are not coming across to me as a player friendly organization. It is led by a black man, and I just think that he is not managing the affairs of Cricket South Africa well. He, he could be. There's a view that he may even be not as forthright, and he may I don't want to get in trouble, but he may be discriminatory, and there are signs of that, because Chris Morris has announced his retirement from international cricket. The 34-year-old all-rounder who came to prominence in last year in the 2021 IPL auction, who fetched the biggest prize at last year IPL auction of over 2.16 million US dollars. The Royal Challengers, the Rajasthan Royals, bid over $2.6 million for his service. He's the second South African cricketer to retire from some form of representing South Africa over the last 2 weeks. While Chris Morris has retired from all international cricket, you may recall that 2 weeks ago, just after the Boxing Day test, Quinton de Kock, the wicket-keeper batsman, have also retired from red ball cricket. He has pledged his service to South Africa for white ball cricket, that's ODI and T20 internationals, but he has retired from red ball cricket. So Quinton de Kock resignation from red ball cricket is now followed by Chris Morris, the 34-year-old all-rounder, retiring from all form of cricket, but he will not be a loss to cricket entirely from playing cricket. He has retired from playing cricket at the international level, but he has said that he's going home to coach the Titans, the multiply Titans in the South African domestic cricket competition. So he'll be coaching the multiply Titans in the South African domestic cricket competition. So he has retired from international from playing international cricket and is now into coaching. Chris Morris had said that for more than a year, there's no communication between him and the CSA, Cricket South Africa. He made his his international debut in 2012 against Australia. So he has played 11 years of 11. The last time he represented South Africa was at the 2019 World Cup in England. That was the last time that he has represented South Africa. So he has played 8 years of international cricket. And I've said that over the last year, there has been no communication between him and Cricket South Africa. No one has said anything to him. And this is why it's the same thing that happened at the end of last year IPL. Cricket South Africa publicly congratulated Ngidi, while they did not congratulate Imran Tahir, and Faf du Plessis, although all 3 players played for the Chennai Super King, the CSK, who won the 2021 IPL. So Imran Tahir was not congratulated. Faf du Plessis was not congratulated because they were not black. But the black man, Ngidi, was congratulated. Cricket South Africa got a lot of flack for it. And that's why I'm saying that there are some things that are going on at Cricket South Africa which is not very, very too pleasing. It's not too pleasing. There need to be some investigation. There need to be some reform taking place at Cricket South Africa? Because at this time, they are coming over like they are probably a racist institution. Because why would you congratulate Ngidi? Why would you not talk to Chris Morris for more than a year? The man who fetched the biggest price ever in IPL auction, 2.16 million. And although Chris Morris never lived up to the expectation at Rajasthan Royal, he was a disappointment. To be all honest, in the 2021 IPL season, I don't think that Chris Morris met the standard of play that was expected from him. But Cricket South Africa have not communicated with Chris Morris for more than a year. I assume the gentleman is frustrated. He last represented South Africa at the 2019 World Cup. Even last year World Cup, the T20 World Cup, Faf du Plessis, who was the second highest run scorer in the 2021 IPL, the second highest run scorer in the 2021 IPL, and he was not second by far. I know he was very close to Ishan Krishan, the other CSK batsman who was the leading run scorer. I think there was about 10 or 15 runs that separated both of them, both scoring over 600 runs. Faf du Plessis has declared to Cricket South Africa that he's willing to represent South Africa at the World Cup. So the second best batsman in the IPL, a South African, have declared that I am prepared to represent South Africa in the World Cup. He was not picked. And my view that why he was not picked, I think, and it's my opinion, I think that if he was a black man, he would have been picked. So I think Cricket South Africa need to tighten up their reins. Now, Scott Boland, who you would recall make his test debut in the third test. That's the Melbourne test. That's the Boxing Day test. The Boxing Day, the third Ashes test at Melbourne. Scott Boland, who came into the side and made his debut, and in the third and fourth test, so you have played 2 tests so far. You have gotten 14 wickets at 8.64. Has now have an elbow and rib injury and is likely to miss the 5th and final Ashes test. So Scott Boland is likely to miss the 5th and final Ashes test. If that should happen, if Boland should not play in the 5th and final Ashes test, Michael Neser, who played in the second test and have not seen any action since, he got 2 wickets in that test. Michael Neser, an all-rounder, is expected to take the place of Scott Boland. Giles Richardson and Josh Hazlewood are still on the injury list. So the only alternative, unless they are going to carry someone else in the squad, and that would not be necessary at this time. So it is very likely that Michael Neser is going to play in his second test. And news coming out of Australia is that this would be the popular choice. There's a lot of persons campaigning on social media that Michael Neser be given the choice to play in the 5th Ashes test. He played in the second test. He got 2 wickets. I think he made about 40 runs. He's a nice looking all-rounder. He's 31 years old. And it seems like Neser has always been a 12-man. But he did made his test debut in the second test. didn't disgrace himself, but never kicked off the door. Boland came into the third test, got 6 wickets in 1 innings, and in all I've got the 14 wickets at 8.64 in his 2 test matches. But now he have an elbow and rib injury, and it once again opened up the door for Michael Neser to play in the 5th test, which is more or less a straightforward decision. At the start of the Ashes series in December, England have 3 batsmen, not England, sorry, Australia. I wish England had had this choice. Australia have 3 batsmen jostling for 2 positions. Travis Head, Usman Khawaja, and Marcus Harris. They went with Marcus Harris to open the innings and Travis Head to bat at 5. And Usman Khawaja was the one that missed out. For the 4th test, Travis Head was left out because of COVID. And you may recall that Travis Head have a century in the series thus far. So Travis Head was left out because of COVID. Usman Khawaja came in, and as we all know, he made a century in both innings of the 4th Ashes test. Now, with the 5th test starting in Hobart, Thursday evening, 5:30 Thursday evening Jamaica time, 10:30 EST time, British Standard Time, 5:30 in Jamaica, 10:30 EST time. Travis Head has recovered from COVID and is more likely going to bat at number 5, where Khawaja bat. The challenge that Pat Cummins and the Australian Iraqis facing in this match is which 2 of the 3 to play. I would believe that Travis Head would get back his position at number 5. So I think the question to be answered, should they drop Marcus Harris and ask Khawaja to go up and open the innings? Mark you, in the past, Khawaja have opened the innings for Australia in Test cricket. But with him scoring 2 centuries in 1 match, will he want to move from number 5? Will he say, well, it's better I'm playing Test cricket than not playing at all? Will he say that it's 5, I want to bat at 5, and if I'm not batting at 5, it's better that Marcus Harris remain the opener? Marcus Harris have only scored 179 runs in the series so far. That's better than most England batsmen. I think that's better than all England batsmen except Root and Malan. So if Marcus Harris was playing for England, he would be a sure pick. 179 runs in 4 matches, that is roughly 45 runs per match. He's not kicking off the door. It's nothing special, but it's better than what England is doing. But it's not bad enough for you to drop him. And he had a fighting half century, I think, in the Melbourne match. So that's the challenge, which is a good one that the Australian captain Cummins and his advisors are facing for the 5th and final Ashes test to start 5:30 Jamaica time, 10:30 EST time on Thursday. Which 2 of the 3, just like at the beginning of the series, when these 3 were competing for 2 places, so it is at the end of the series that these 3 are still competing for 2 places. So we wait with bated breath to see which 2 of the 3 are going to make it in the Australia team for that final 11 for the 5th test match. On a side note to that, Ben Stokes, who we know injured his side his side in the fourth Ashes test at Adelaide, and have undergone surgery. Reports are that he did the surgery without anesthetics. He must be a tough man. I wonder what would that feel for you to do a surgery without anesthetics. I don't think I could manage that. I am so afraid of pain. But Ben Stokes did the surgery without anesthetics and is saying that he wants to play in the test match. He wants to play in the fifth test match as a batsman. So if he should play in the fifth test match as a batsman, that means that England will go into the match with only 4 frontline bowlers, because Ben Stokes will not be able to bowl. And although Root bowler look off spin and Malan bowler look leg spin, they are not considered frontline bowlers. They are not bowlers who you can expect to strike. And with England in all of the test matches, in all of the 8 innings thus far in the series, England have not dismissed Australia once. In every innings, Australia have declared. So it is very interesting to see what will happen. Will they play Ben Stokes, or will they go for an all-rounder like David Lawrence bowl some good off spin, or will they go for a fifth pace bowler in Chris Oakes? It's left to be seen. My choice is that I would go in with the 4 bowlers and I would play Stokes at 5. The other thing about the England team for this 5th and final Ashes test is who will keep wicket. Jos Buttler is injured. He will not play. Earlier this week, Jeff Boycott said that Jos Buttler should never represent England again in Test cricket, that he's no good. He's only a white ball cricketer. But Boycott also said this week that England have a batting problem. We all know that. Everybody knows that. But what Boycott failed to say was, what is the solution? So don't tell us that England have a batting problem at the top of the order. Everyone that follows cricket all over the world knows that England has a big batting problem at the top of the order. So Boycott coming out and saying that it's nothing. Tell us how to fix the problem, and then we will listen to you. So I will go ahead and play Stokes at 5. But who will I use as the wicket keeper? Will it be Pope, or will it be Sam Billings? Is Bairstow fit enough to take the gloves? Or Bairstow made a century batting at 6 in the 4th test? Why give him the gloves? Why don't let him stay at 6 and play only as a batsman? So maybe I'll go with Pope. I'll probably go with Pope because he's in the Ashes already. He played 2 matches already. He's in the environment. So I will go with Pope. For me, the bowling will remain the same. So the only change that I will make to the England side from the 4th test to the 5th test, the only change will Pope will come in for Buttler. Now, reports are emerging, rumors are emerging that the franchises in the Pakistan Super League, that they are undermining each other when it comes to sponsorship. The team sponsorship, not the overall sponsorship that the league itself works out, which is over $44.4 million to be divided equally among the 6 franchises. Yes, the television broadcast right is 24.8 million, and the sponsorship is 19.6 million. The television broadcast sponsorship is 24.6 million, and the sponsorship is 19.8 million. That's the overall sponsorship of 44.4 million US dollars to be 95% of that amount will go to the 6 franchises. However, when it comes to negotiating the branding of the team, the sponsorship to brand the team, it is said that franchises are undermining each other's. Put it this way. Say the Dealmaker store is negotiating with franchise X, and franchise X and the Dealmaker store reach an agreement of $1 million US dollars. Then what will happen is that Sweet Energy Fitness will go into the Dealmaker store and say, Dealmaker, we will only charge you 900,000. We'll charge you only 950,000. So I'm hearing that there's some undermining that is going on. And this is not good for the franchises. They need to work as a team. If you know that someone is talking to a sponsor, you should back off. It's only good business practices, only goodwill. It is a messy situation when more than one team is talking to the same sponsor. There should be some rule that only one team can talk to one sponsor at a time. If that deal fall through, then then another franchise may approach that sponsor. But I don't think that a team should be undermining another team. It doesn't look good for Pakistan cricket. What looks good for Pakistan cricket is that Ramiz Raja, the president of the PCB, the Pakistan Cricket Board, is sending a proposal to the ICC to start a 4-nation T20 tournament that will be played every year, so that India and Pakistan will be able to play each other every year. So the proposal is to have 4 teams: Pakistan, India, England, and Australia. And every year, these 4 teams will play in a tournament, and the hosting of the tournament will revolve around the 4 teams. So 1 year India, 1 year Pakistan, 1 year Australia, 1 year England, and it revolves around the 4 teams, and this tournament will play for every year as long as there's sponsorship. The plan is for it to play every year to perpetuity, unless something changes. And you know, the last time that India and Pakistan played a bilateral series was in 2012. They have played each other, but only in ICC tournaments. So India and Pakistan, because of political conflicts, and you know about the situation on the border with Kashmir, right now, as I speak, there are Indian soldiers on one side and Pakistani soldier on one side at that border with Kashmir. So we know that there's a conflict going on. Well, it's not a conflict, but there's a standoff right now between the Pakistani soldiers and Indian soldiers. And that has been going on for years, even before I was born, for years. So there's always political strife between India and Pakistan. And because of that, these 2 teams have not played in a bilateral series since 2012. They have played in ICC organized event, and they'll be playing each other twice this year, one at the Asia's Cup and one at the T20 World Cup. But outside of that, they have not arranged or organized any bilateral series. So Ramiz Raja and Ramiz Raja is getting a lot of praise, because even in the PSL, he was the one who negotiated that the PSL franchises get 95% of the sponsorship deal to share among the 6 franchises. Before, I think it was 50%. And franchises were losing money. So Ramiz Raja have done 2 good things in the last week. And even when the argument came out about Yasir Shah involved in covering up a rape of an underage girl, incidentally, the Pakistani police have cleared Yasir Shah of any involvement or any bribery in that alleged rape case that his friend Farhan have been alleged to involving of raping. It is alleged that Farhan raped an underage girl at gunpoint and video recorded it and threatened to release the video if the young lady said anything. And a report was made to the Pakistani police, what you call a FIR, First Information Report. We don't know if it was written or verbal because it is said that the FIR can be made either verbal or written. But information is, news coming out is that Yasir Shah have been clear of all of those charges. And when the argument started, Razim Raja, who I personally met in 1993 at Sabina Park while I was on teaching practice, I met him at Sabina Park in 1993. At that time when the argument came out, Razim Raja said, we do not have enough information as yet. We are gathering our facts and we'll speak to the media. Razim Raja have agreed that 95% of all the sponsorship money coming into the PSL should go to the franchises now. And Razim Raja is now proposing a 4-nation cricket tournament, including India, Pakistan, England, and Australia, to revolve or to be hosted by each country on a revolving basis. And there are 2 objectives for this. One is that India and Pakistan will play every year because there's no bilateral series between the 2 countries, and those fixtures usually rake in a lot of money. And Ramiz Raja is saying that the money that comes from this tournament should be divided on an equitable basis to all full member ICC countries. So although it's on a 4-nation playing the tournament, his proposal is that all the revenue generated by this tournament, that the money should be shared among all the ICC full member countries. That's so high praises to Ramiz Raja. He looks like he's the man that I will put up to lead the ICC at his next election, because he is saying some good things at this time. Now, I am hearing, and I'm hearing from credible source, that the JCA, who is an affiliate of Cricket West Indies, who Oshane Thomas is centrally contracted to, I'm hearing that he will not get an NOC to play in the BSL, the Bangladesh Super League. So South Africa is banning its players from playing in the IPL. England is banning its players from playing in the IPL. And now follow up on Odin Simit, did not get an NOC to play in the BBL and is not getting one to play in the PSL.